Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are we all today? Well, it's Saturday morning. It's absolutely glorious today. There is a slight little haze in the distance. I'm not sure if you're seeing that on the screen, but I know with the naked eye that I can just see a slight little haze. It is lovely and warm. No wind blowing at all. And as we look down towards the location heading towards Amber Lockerbie and Kerry, where they had a bit of a fire yesterday in Kerry, which is in the news. Yeah, it's looking absolutely glorious. Just a hint of cloud on the hills, but nothing major. And absolutely glorious day. Chickens are out pecking about. The oranges are getting fatter. They're not eaters at the moment, we've been told, although we have had a few off the trees. But I think for making marmalade, they're absolutely fantastic. But at the moment, as eaters, not at the moment, still a little bit early for them. The old grapes are waiting, obviously. The vines are waiting to start growing again. And it's really feeling spring-like today as well. So that's down that side of the house. Let's go over and have a look at the other side of the house, see how it's looking. Everybody seems to be very chilled today, to be quite honest. Good morning, Amanda. Nice to see you here. Also, Jan Lawrence tuning in as well. And looking towards the Kalamaki and Laguna direction. Again, lovely, lovely bright sunshine. Absolutely glaring. My old glasses are going dark. I can't see the comments very easily as well because obviously they're beaming into my face, but it's so lovely and warm. It's absolutely glorious. So looking over the hill towards Sillavi direction, again, absolutely magnificent blue skies. I don't know if you're picking this up on your screens, but it looks absolutely glorious today. So there you go. That's a look at the weather. Looking forward to Amanda's concise weather forecast, which will probably drop to me as I go on. But here we go. Absolutely fantastic. Busy day yesterday, actually, with all the broadcasting. And also going to the police station. I've got to show you this, all right? There it is. Ooh, there it is. I got my residency permit. Jane and I, we went to the police station yesterday and we got the new biometric card, which is like gold dust now, to be quite honest. The days of coming over to Greece and then just staying and hanging around a bit with your old EU passport, I'm afraid those days have gone. And if you want to do anything now in Greece, you're going to need one of these bad boys, all right? The old residency permit. For those people still getting yours, I hope the process is going to be easy. I do know people have been having issues with the paperwork and also just trying to prove how long they've been here. You know, difficulties with income tax returns and accountants who haven't been doing their job very good, so we say. And this is getting one of these is obviously highlighting the inefficiencies of some people who you took for granted were doing a good job. But anyway, I'm so pleased Jane and I have got one of these because, again, it just cements our position here in Greece. So thank you to Mr. Spiros yesterday for all you've done. And he did an absolutely fantastic job as far as I'm concerned. Right, OK, let's have a quick look. I'm just trying to get me camera to switch back round. Hang on a tick. Just continue. Come on, switch round for me. Let's switch the camera around. There we go. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the news. Let's see what's been going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece. I see Derek and Bridget Cole are tuning in. And Cyprus, you are part of my news today. And when I get to that, I'll let you know. All right. Okay, so where are we then? 27th of February. Dun, dun, one more day to go. And then it's all over for February 2021, which is tomorrow. But anyway, we've now been in lockdown now 113 days. It's Saturday and it's a beautiful day. Just to remind you as well, the 10% discount for booking rooms at Magdalena's apartments continues until the 31st of March because our lockdown is continuing up until the 15th. Hopefully after the 15th, maybe we might be out of it, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Anyway, if you want to book yourself what do you call it, by all means, just go and see Dennis, get in touch and do your booking, all right? And you get 10% off. Right, let's have a look at COVID in the last 24 hours. It's looking interesting at the moment. Yesterday, I reported that we'd had 1,784 infections. Well, I'm afraid that is up slightly. Yesterday, there were reported 1,790 new infections across Greece. So that is a slight rise. That means that we've had 188,210 new infections since the pandemic started, a year to the day yesterday. All right. Anyway, 6 new cases were identified coming into the country after checks. That is actually down on the day before, where we had 10 actually spotted at entry points into the country. As for the national stats at the moment, this is the way the national stats are showing online at the moment. So at the moment, there's been 7 new cases in Macardo. They are in yellow, remember. There's been 7 new cases in Kefalonia. Kefalonia are in the red. That's what we were up until a week ago. And there have been 7 new cases in Corfu, and they are in yellow. Anyway, here on Zakynthos, on the national news, we've only had 2 cases reported on the national statistics. However, on the ground, we've had 4. And I'll just quickly go over those 4 cases with you now. There were 4 new cases of COVID reported yesterday in Zakynthos, and it's been really interesting ages across the board. In the morning, a 60-year-old man tested positive. He'd been suffering from mild symptoms. He'd gone to the hospital, got tested, and was found to be positive. He's gone home, 14 days isolated quarantine. Then later in the day, a 43-year-old man went to the hospital. He again tested positive after having mild symptoms. And then, believe it or not, his 16-month-old son had the same problems, suffering from mild symptoms, goes to the hospital, has been tested and found to have been positive as well. So a 16-month basically baby has been tested positive here again. Now this is, I think, probably the second baby that we've had testing positive here on Zakynthos. So that is something to raise a few eyebrows. Anyway, also later in the day, there was another positive case. A 22-year-old was found positive, and that was in the late afternoon. He had mild symptoms and has been quarantined and sent home to isolate. So basically 4 cases yesterday, according to our stuff on the ground, but according to the national stats, it's been 2. The national stats will probably catch up with us on the next round of releasing of figures. Anyway, just to say that yesterday was a bit of a milestone for positive cases as far as I'm concerned, because I've been keeping my own tally. Zakynthos, by my reckoning, has had 101 positive cases since the beginning of the year. And this month, we've had 66 cases for the month of February as well. So again, those are the figures at the moment. Now, when it comes to deaths, deaths is down at the moment, which is a relief a bit. Yesterday I had reported we had 39 deaths. Today, at the moment, we had 29 new deaths. The average age of those people passing away from COVID was 79 years of age. And that now brings the tally of deaths in Greece since the pandemic started to 6,439. Now, one thing to remember, that 96.4% of those people had underlying health issues or were over the age of 70. And the death rate for Greece in 2019, the average daily death rate in 2019 was around about 329 cases a day of people passing away from other various forms of method of death other than COVID-19, because it wasn't around then. So that just puts things into perspective. Anyway, as for Zakynthos, we've only had 1 death on the island here in 2021, and let's hope it stays that way for the rest of the year, but we shall wait and see. Anyway, as for critical cases, they've gone up at the moment across Greece in the ICUs. Yesterday, I reported to you that we had 367 Well, at the moment, we now have 371 cases in ICUs across Greece at the moment. So that's a slight increase, of which 265 are male and 106 are female. One thing also to bear in mind that people who are in ICUs, 68 is the average age of those people, and 86.6% of those people have some form of underlying other condition and other health issues, and also they are over the age of 70 as well. So again, we keep an eye on that because sometimes the beds are under, shall we say, creaking from the amount of people that are occupying those beds in ICUs. Now, going towards the news then, most of it is kind of local news, all right? According to the Zakynthos MP, Dionis Atipas, he posted on his webbook page yesterday that the supply of an AstraZeneca vaccine for Zakynthos should arrive within the next 10 days, all right? You might remember that people have been shouting, where is the vaccination for people, especially those in the age of 60 to 64, and also the older groups have been done, and we haven't seen any more vaccine being delivered to the island in quite a while. Anyway, in a detailed announcement, the MP says that the AstraZeneca vaccines are expected to arrive on our island following contacts that he had made with the political leadership of the Ministry of Health, and in particular with the Secretary General of Primary Care of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Theomosakis, within the last, it will arrive within the next 10 days. So he also states that the General Hospital of Zakynthos will have a second vaccination line as well, which practically means that they'll be able to treat two age groups at the same time. So it looks like vaccinations are still going to be run from the hospital. They're not going to be run from in town or at Katastari as first anticipated. And we're certainly not having the 5 vaccination centres that they were talking about when this was all first mooted months ago when the vaccine was starting to be rolled out. Anyway, he also states that practically that means that the same age groups can obviously be vaccinated in the hospital at the same time. And he also goes on his typical political rant as well, because you kind of expect this because he's an MP. The claim of those who unsuccessfully claim that our hospital does not open a second vaccination line due to the lack of staff proves completely inappropriate, he says, since the real reason that vaccinations had not started on the island was that there was a shortage of vaccine. Well, yeah, we said that all along. Now that the flow of vaccines is starting normally, Zakynthos is one of the first regions to open without any delay, and a second vaccination line as well will open. In fact, the hospital administration, with its document of the 14th of January 2021 to the 6th Health Region, that's the like the trust that oversees the Zakynthos Hospital, requested the creation of a second vaccination line at the hospital of Zakynthos. Anyway, another fact that categorically contradicts those who continue to exercise opposition to whatever, and clearly demonstrates that there has always been a required competence with regard to the medical and nursing staff of the hospital. Anyway, therefore, in spite of our critics, we take our responsibilities seriously and proceed with essential actions so that vaccination in Zakynthos can continue smoothly and in the best possible way. So again, we've got to wait now 10 days to see when the vaccines or more vaccine then obviously starts to turn up. I do know people of the 60 upward age group have been trying to get appointments, and obviously you can't get an appointment if you haven't got the actual vaccine here in the first place. So again, we shall keep an eye on this. Now, interestingly, in reply to the MP's announcement on his Facebook page that then got published in the local media, the Greek Communist Party, which we know as the KKE, they also issued a statement yesterday as well to the island, calling for mass vaccinations of the people and measures for the protection of the people's health and the protection and the relief of the workers. farmers and the self-employed from the effects of the economic crisis as well as the actual medical crisis. Anyway, the notice also said that the people of Zakynthos know very well from their own experience that despite the communication gimmicks, I like that word, or communication gimmicks, the current situation is a result of a government policy choices aimed at making everyone responsible because of the real shielding of the public health system, and the measures of protection of the people from the pandemic are considered as costs for the capital state. So in other words, basically, it's all our fault. We should do as we're told, stay in our houses because obviously the government is not moving fast enough to try and sort it at their level. And don't forget, you're paying for this as well in your taxes. Anyway, also in their statement, they said that the medicine, the vaccine cannot and should not be a commodity. Good point. But a social good. And this can be achieved by the socialization of the monopolies. With people, the real owner of everything it produces, free from the capitalist profit and the hunt for the dangerous competition. So there you go. That's what the Communist Party here on Zakynthos is saying about everything that's going on. And I've got to be honest, they have got some points there, especially when it comes to the monopolisation by companies of product, and also how, yes, it looks like the vaccine could turn into a form of a commodity. If you haven't got it, you can't get this, and you can't get that and the other. Anyway, meanwhile, the Professor of Health Policy, Elias Mosailos of the London School of Economics and Political Science, has stated that the 6 vaccines, namely those from Pfizer, Biotech, Modern, Oxford, AstraZeneca, the Johnson & Johnson, the Nuvax and the Russian Sputnik 5 are 100% effective. Protecting against COVID-19 with regard to hospitalisation or death, whether infected by the European or the so-called Kent strain, which is basically the UK strain. So he's saying now that all the vaccines now are 100% effective. Well, that's a pretty tall order to be shouting, and I shall be keeping an eye on this professor to see how that stands up as we continue further down the road. Now, interestingly, here in Greece, it's just been reported, I just managed to find this story, that the first case of the so-called Uganda mutation of COVID-19 was detected in Greece. Don't let that get you confused with South Africa. That's a different variant, all right? But anyway, the Ugandan mutation behaves similarly to the British mutation, and the total number of British and South African mutations that have been found in Greece at the moment now stands at 1,052. Now, the Ugandan mutation's lineage is an A231 and has been identified in various parts of the world, and more specifically in some African countries, also in Canada, but also in 5 or 6 European countries as well. So on top of the British or Kent variation, the South African variation, we've now got the Ugandan variation. There's a Japanese variation as well, from what I remember, and also one from Chile as well. So it looks like Uganda is now joining the party. They could have called it the Idi Amin. What do you reckon? The Idi Amin. That'll probably be the nickname it will be given, because he was a despicable person in his time, and most people will remember him as well. Anyway, talking about Cyprus, because obviously I've got Cyprus viewers who are looking in, Derek and Bridget Cole, also Patrick as well, who tunes in as well as Wiggy Winstanley, the ambassador for Wigan in Cyprus. Cyprus is actually getting ready to reopen its high schools, gyms, pools. Yeah, they've got swimming pools, dance academies and art galleries, and they're getting ready to open on Monday, March the 1st. You lucky people, in a further incremental easing of the country's second nationwide COVID lockdown. Now, the Cypriot Health Minister Konstantinos Inahu said easing the 6-week-old lockdown should proceed slowly and cautiously and in a controlled manner, he said. He warned that the situation could easily get out of hand again as the country's infection rate remains slightly above the safety limits set by the European Union's Disease Prevention Agency. Now, according to the minister, the number of infections now stands at 164.3 per 100,000 people. Anyway, middle school students are scheduled to return to classrooms on March the 8th, Minister said, signalling the reopening of all schools after a week of online tuition. Anyway, primary schools in Cyprus are already holding in-person classes, but the minister made it clear that the twice daily excursions requiring the old texting SMX is still in requirement, and also the curfew will still run from 9 p.m. till 5 o'clock in the morning. So you've still got that going on, but it looks like your retail sector and stuff like that will be open. So at least you've got a little bit more freedom, much more than what we've got at the moment. Anyway, Inianu also said we'll do without certain things for the next 2 or 3 months. Some measures will carry on until there's sufficient vaccination coverage, which is estimated to be happening by June. So you should be well into your tourist season by then. Anyway, the other main thing is the other side story that's running in tandem with this, is that a ban on public gatherings also continues to apply at the moment, despite growing public fatigue which culminated in thousands demonstrating last weekend in the capital to protest the restrictions on this lockdown of public gathering and the alleged police heavy-handedness and also a police corruption as well there in Greece. Anyway, police didn't intervene in the protest but used water cannon, pepper spray and stun grenades to dispense a much smaller group of left-wing demonstrators a week earlier. Anyway, one young woman required surgery for an eye injury following a blast from a water cannon, and the force's actions triggered a public outcry and prompted a probe to determine whether the riot police there had used disappropriate force. Anyway, on Wednesday, Amnesty International then got involved and urged the Cypriot authorities to lift what is called an unlawful and disappropriate blanket ban on demonstrations. And Amnesty International, Greece and Cyprus officially said police made unnecessary and excessive use of force during the earlier protests. They also said that the violence was also part of a deeply worrying pattern in Cyprus where human rights are coming under sustained attack. So there you go. That's quite an interesting little story. And then just a little story. A forest fire broke out yesterday in KKE, as I'd already mentioned, near Lagadia. Anyway, 5 vehicles from the local fire brigade went there, along with 10 firefighters and also volunteers as well to help put out the fire. But there's been no clear information at the moment as to what caused the fire and also whether there were any injuries. Obviously, they've not been reported, and also how much damage has been caused as well. But there are some photographs and pictures online on Hermes News and also the Amira as well of the actual fire itself. And finally, a nice unfinally story for you on a lovely Saturday morning. Interesting little article caught my eye in the Greek Reporter about ancient Greek makeup. Anyway, in the modern world, obviously, women take it for granted that makeups are safe. But back in those days, makeups were not actually that safe to be used. But it's interesting that I love this little phrase that was in the article. It was believed that the Greeks didn't really use makeup a great deal because according to the writers of the time, they said that some Greeks used makeup to basically trick women or trick men, that women of lower classes or prostitutes, they would use makeup to lure the men in, which I thought was quite a funny little statement. Anyway, in the ancient world, the most common use thing was lead as being, and it seems the Greeks were the first to use lead in makeup and making it a paste because again they like this fair complexion of skin, and this use of lead continued right the way up until the 18th century, when you remember everybody was running around with white powdery faces. But more interestingly, when it comes to hair dye, because somebody commented to me the other day that I'm looking more grey than I am ginger, and I said, listen, I am DJ silver ginger these days. That one of the ingredients that Greek women would use to dye their hair, believe it or not, was sausages. Yeah, sausages. and not only just sausages all mashed up, but you put in with those sausages some rotting leeches. Yes, rotting leeches. And you also put wine in there as well. So you can eat, drink and be merry and have great looking hair. Oh, and by the way, it's not something it's done quickly. It takes 40 days for this dye to actually get made. So there you go. Little interesting article. Check it out in the Greek Reporter and you'll see how far women's makeup has come in many. And somebody's already said Ginger Silver Fox, laugh out loud. Thank you very much for that, Tim. But anyway, let's have a quick look, see who's tuning in at the moment. Let's have a look. Jan Lawrence is watching. Lovely to have you looking in, Jan. Amanda Gregory is watching as well. Linda Gary is watching. Thanks, Linda and Gary. Great tune choices from yesterday as well. Lindsay Lamb is also tuning in as well. Caroline Davis is watching too. Peter Atkins is watching. Lovely to see you, Peter. Andrew Patrick Vannels is also watching it as well. Amanda Gregory, weather forecast for today. Morning, Ginge. Mostly sunny with a cool breeze. High of 18 degrees with a feel which feels more like 21, and underneath it says we're getting a humidity and wind speed. I'll do this again now. Feels like the aspects come from a combination of humidity, wind speed and the current temperature that increases, that senses. This is about why we feel, cheers for that. I'm going to read that again. That feels like it comes from the combination of humidity and wind speed and the current temperature that increases the senses to being hot or cold. Yes, I Googled it, love it and enjoy. Cheers, thanks for that. I really actually thought that was fantastic, actually. Brilliant. I've got some more messages coming through at the moment. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Go down. Peter Dyer is tuning in. Good morning. Got to work and it's very cold. Swap places anytime. Thank you there, Peter. Philip James is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Kevin Bell, Boothie over there says morning from Sid and family. Debbie Davis is watching. Susie Angus, bless you. Nice to see you tuning in. Paula Carterton is tuning in as well. She says, beautiful sunshine here in Nottingham. Too hot. Not as warm as you though. Thank you, my lovely. John Mims is tuning in as well. Nice to see you, John. Yanni Taskos is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Yanni. It's nice when locals tune in as well. Christine Plant is also tuning in. Ben Warner from beachradio.co.uk, he's also tuning in. Don't forget that I've got my Northern Soul show. That's going up online on Sunday evening, 5 o'clock UK time till 7 o'clock, which is 7 o'clock Greek time till 9 o'clock Greek time. Come and join us. Absolutely great show. Some brilliant tracks, all right, Northern Soul tracks. And Ben is obviously hard at work at the moment as well. Ben Warner gives us a wave. I'll give him a wave back. Mark Tooley is watching. Billy Esther is watching. Dave Lowry is watching. Teresa Han Huggett says, good morning. Good morning to you as well, Teresa. Paula Catterton is watching. Yvonne Hughes is watching. Barbara Cooker is watching as well. Mark Billingham is watching out, the old poacher. Nice to have you tuning in. Raffridge buddy as well. Barbara Cocker is tuning in too. Yvonne Hughes. Julie Stevens says hello. Let's have a look. Bob Monroe. I'm seeing comments coming up. Hopefully you can all get your vaccine soon. Well, we're just going to have to wait. I think the old MP here now has put himself in a pickle. Do you know what annoys me? It's just the way he writes. I went and saw the minister. And all right, you've got the vaccine. Let's see if it turns up in 10 days' time. Let's see if your mate is the guy who is going to get it here. But we'll wait and see. There's lots of other islands in a lot worse state than us who are still waiting for the vaccine as well. Anyway, Tim Crystal, Elvis is tuning in. Nice to see you. He says, morning, buddy. Jerry Smith, Yvonne Masters is giving us a big hug. Thank you. Paul Armstrong is also tuning in. Tim Crystal's tuning in. Shane Bowen. He says, Gallimera Ginge, the Buzzards are back, waiting for your next show. Bless it. While I was doing my show yesterday, Shane Bowen lives, believe it or not, in the middle of Exmoor. He's got a caravan in the middle of Exmoor, and he does a bit up there with the nature and stuff like that. And he has a caravan set up there with his stereo speakers blasting across the moors. So if you ever get lost on Exmoor, just listen for the sound of the music, all right, and you'll get help. And it seems to got buzzards up there. I never realised I had buzzards up over Exmoor, and it said they actually enjoy the music, and they come and sat on his by his caravan listening to my dulcet tunes blaring out across Exmoor, which made me feel really good, actually. So anyway, thank you for that. And also thanks for tuning in yesterday, Shane, as well, into the Beats Radio chat room for my Dance Anthem show that went out last night. Absolutely amazing. The amount of people listening to that show in their cars because of an app that Beats Radio have. You can tune into it anywhere. You don't have to be on your PC or by a laptop or on your tablet. You can hear it anywhere while driving about, and we get quite a lot of lorry drivers, believe it or not. And a big shout out to Phil, who drives from Dover to Newark every day, but actually lives in Calais, and he has to cross the channel every day, so he has to stop at Manston, gets a COVID test, and then gets over on the ferry to go home at night. So there you go. People are still moving across the channel, and they are still able to get backwards and forwards. Might be a bit awkward, but they're still managing to do it, and they're still managing to work as well, which is interesting. Anyway, Derek and Bridget Cole, who live in Paphos in Cyprus, say it's 18 degrees here in Paphos. I love Paphos. It's a lovely little town, but I bet it's changed since I was last there. Linda Gary says no side effects, just an extra 2 fingers for drawing. Oh, that's right, because Gary had his COVID jab, but he wouldn't have the arm that he draws with done. He said they had to stick it in the other arm just in case there's any side effects. And I can hear somebody thinking, oh, I know where I want it, but no, it doesn't give that side effect either, Dop here. All right, Melanie Thompson's watching. Big Al Thompson is watching. Shane Bowen said, great show on Beats, Ginge. Thank you very much. And Peter Dyer says, the buzzards in Exmoor migrated from Leighton. Yes, of the Buzzards, Leighton Buzzards. Thank you for that, Peter. And I think I shall leave that there. Today, Jade and I, just a beautiful day. We've got jobs to do around the house and things to sort out. And also, don't forget, next week's would be quite a normally busy week for the island, because next week would see the start of Carnival. Next Thursday is Chicknapempty, all right? And I love Chicknapempties. Chicknapempties is a joy here in Greece at normal times. This is when everybody gets together, eats lots of souvlaki, drinks lots of wine. We used to go down to Claude's down in Kalamaki. He'd have a little bit of a party there. We'd also maybe go down to Argasi and go see Ruby and everybody down there, and they'd have a big, huge street party going down there. But of course, that's not going to happen again this year. We did manage to get it in last year before all the restrictions came in, so that's going to be lost. And next Sunday coming would have been Piccolo Day. That's when the kids would have their carnival. But obviously, Carnival is not going to happen. There's already been reports in some of the national press at the moment. Carnival in Patra, which is absolutely massive and a huge thing. It's like, wouldn't say it's on the level of Rio in the scale of what they do, but it is still a massive carnival, and obviously that is not going to happen. So again, we'll wait and see. So it's all going to be a little bit of a quietness, really, when normally at this time we'd all be getting geared up and psyched up for Chicknapempty, and then the kids' carnival on Sunday, and then the following Sunday would be the mega carnival with all the adults getting involved, and all the different floats from all the different villages all coming into town, and thousands upon thousands of people all just drinking, eating, having a good time before Lent starts, all right? Because the idea of Chicknapempty, it was a time to get rid of all the meat and get that all eaten and drunk before you had to start your 40 days fasting before the actual Easter would take place. And at the moment, we looks like, fingers crossed, that we may come out of this lockdown on the 15th of March. That's the official date at the moment that we've been put into. And we'll wait and see if they're going to move the goalposts again a bit further over. But anyway, we'll wait and see. But that's what we've been looking forward to this week. But anyway, I better go because I don't want to start rambling on. You have a great day wherever you are. Big shout out to Paul Geordie Cunningham. Nice to see you. Also, Debbie as well is tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll keep my ear to the ground, see if we find anything out. And have a great day. Oh, and good morning to Sweden. Maria Heidelberg tuning in as well. Nice to have you here. I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.